Welcome to Liverpool and your party conference. Over the next 2 days, 2,000 randomly sortitioned members of the 50,000 or so who have signed up have come here to debate, discuss and ultimately vote on the party's foundational documents and, at some point, a name. Formally, the conference starts at 10 a.m. this morning, but last night there were already quite a few dramatic events.
The implication is that the Socialist Workers' Party as a whole is not welcome.
We're all going to be kicked out. All the left is going to be kicked out.
And by the left we mean like trot groups.
Well, I'm not a Trotskyist.
Okay, sorry.
Both Jeremy and Zara held sort of dueling rallies on the eve of the conference. At Jeremy's event, which consisted mostly of poetry and music with a bit of politics on the side, people were evicted from the hall from the Revolutionary Communist group. Across town,
A second pre-drinks has hit your party conference.
at Zara's event, things felt a bit more urgent. We heard a whole panel of speakers give their impressions of what the political moment now demands.
We can turn your party into a force that can win.
Zara gave a rousing speech and then took a question from our very own Stephen Methan.
What would be the top 3 policies that you would take to the country whenever that is?
We need a wealth tax, but we also need to nationalise the entire economy. Obviously, like I said, utilities, transport, energy are important, but we need to look beyond that. We need to look at the banks, we need to look at construction, we need to look at the entire economy.
Under Zach Polanski's watch, the Green Party has spiked to 150,000 members. And so for your party, regaining some of its earlier momentum is going to be key. Decisions are going to be made at this conference. Will the party set up branches now or wait a bit until there's a committee in place? Will it be an explicitly socialist party? Will it have one leader or a collective leadership? The 2-leader option has been taken off the ballot. And what will it be called? Who are these people who decided to come to Liverpool for this conference? And who is still left? Lewis Nielsen, you've been kicked out of your party. How are you feeling?
I think it's a bit of a shame, really. I think if you look at what is happening in Britain, we've got Farage coming to number 10, we've got Starmer and his miserable government, and the people running your party have decided to turn their fire on socialists who have been building your party and want it to succeed. I think it still can succeed, but it needs to change course and build outwards rather than inwards.
The Socialist Workers' Party is a famously controversial group, right? I mean, a few decades back, or a decade and a half back, there was, of course, the Comrade Delta rape crisis, right? Has the party changed?
Yeah, definitely. Look, we, since that happened, have brought in a whole series of procedures that have made our procedures much more robust to issues of sexual harassment and abuse. And we have a zero tolerance policy in our organisation now. If you look at the response to the people who have tried to ban us, actually, everyone on the left has supported us. They might not all agree with the SWP, but they know that up and down the country, we're the people who have been central to the anti-fascist campaigns, building solidarity with Palestine, supporting strikes, and wanting your party to succeed.
You've been expelled.
Yeah,
Why?
for being a member of the Socialist Workers' Party. Yeah. It's people that have, lived their whole life, trade union bureaucrats, and in the Labour Party that want to think that the best way is to just try and cut people out of a broad organisation.
So some of the groups around here, we've got RTG over here, we've got Counterfire, we've got the Socialists, we've got the Spartacist League, we've got the Socialist Workers' Party, right? Like, the culture
story, isn't it? But the story's 800,000.
I know. I totally get that, and I want to get back to the 800,000.
So let's get Jeremy and Zara to co-lead this thing on those 5 principles, stand candidates across the country in May, let's get organised. Well, what's stopping that? We ain't stopping that. The people who are wrecking it isn't small groups like this. The people who have wrecked it are the people who are running it so far. I think Jeremy and Zara want that vision. We've all worked closely with them. Let's get it to happen.
We've interviewed 2 people. Both of them turn out to have been expelled. They're both members of the Socialist Workers' Party. Maybe we'll find someone who isn't a member of the Socialist Workers' Party and who hasn't been expelled. I want to ask you, what the point of the party is. What's the purpose?
The purpose of the party is we just want a change. We just want in a process where they said we have democratic government and you want to see it in operation and you want to see that it is being practicalized. So all people here, they come from a party that people will be involved, is for the people and is working with the people. People make the decision and not the MPs or the people at the top.
A different kind of party, and that's what we need. A socialist party, one that's fighting for the working class, one that's totally anti-NATO, anti-imperialist, and anti-Zionist. So those are the lines. That's why this witch hunting stuff is happening.
Anti-imperialist, anti-NATO, and anti-Zionist. Those are the three.
And pro-working class, for working. The working class is moving to the right. They're looking to Nigel Farage and et cetera, because out of disgust with the status quo.
Well, basically what we want is an open democratic party, a socialist party, party that allows factions and tendencies, that allows groups like the SWP, the Socialist Party, to bring the whole left together. And we want it to be a democratic in terms of the members having the say, members having control.
Within, both Zara and Jeremy are both able to articulate different arguments around the left, but one thing they do have in common is solidarity with workers, and that needs to be at the heart, but also for ordinary people to have a say. I want to in a party where what I do and say counts and contributes and I'm listened to.
Have you been kicked out?
Not yet. Doing our best to stay in.
So we're in the conference hall. We're going to be talking in a bit to both Zara Sultana and to Jeremy Corbyn about what this party is for and indeed who should be in it.
This movement is not bigger than any one individual. Please join me in welcoming Jeremy Corbyn.
I introduce myself, Jeremy Corbyn, political activist from Islington North.
Lots of this conference is kind of about procedure, but you have a vision for this party. What is that vision?
Grassroots, open, broad, democratic campaigning, and above all, bringing people into political activity who've never been involved in anything political before. And that, to me, has been the eye-opener and the illuminating part of the local assemblies. I've been to quite a lot of them. They vary in size, in attendance, but interestingly, people, when sitting around a table like this, who've never met each other before, asked to talk about what they want in society, they come up with broadly the same things.
You've got a vision for what this party could be. What is that vision?
A socialist party that doesn't just give people hope, but materially improves their lives.
What does that mean in concrete practice, though?
In concrete, it means we have a party that doesn't just focus on electoralism. It is about building social power in our communities. It's about increasing trade union density. It's about being on picket lines. It's about turning up when the fascists turn up in our communities and fighting back. It's about supporting the Palestinian people in their fight for liberation. And it's about making people's lives better.
Democracy is hard. Right? It's difficult, there are complications, there are difficulties, lots of things go wrong on the way. How do you understand what has gone wrong in your party today?
Well, first of all, what's gone right is we're here. What's gone right is we have a conference. What's gone right is we're now voting on the Constitution and how that's taken forward. That is an enormous development and a great success. What's gone wrong is the time it's taken to do it, and there's a huge debate about that, which we talked about earlier. What's gone wrong is that too often the activists have descended into lengthy, sometimes slightly rancorous social media debates. Now, social media is a brilliant place sometimes to get messages out. It's also an utterly poisonous and depressing place at the same time for people. And so could we and should we have handled things differently? A lot of things could and should have been done differently. They weren't. I regret that, but we are where we are, and I'm determined that we go forward from here.
Well, none of us have ever set up a new party before, and obviously it's had its hiccups, and that's putting it lightly. And none of us have designed structures of a party, so we are learning on the job. And I think what is important to understand is that we've got a lot of trust to rebuild. We need to convert those 800,000 people into members, into organisers in their community. And many of those people haven't gone away. They haven't disappeared or vanished into thin air. Many of them are waiting, ready to make a jump and join us and fight back. And I think it's about us establishing the party, getting its structures in place, making sure there's maximum member democracy. And this isn't a party that's a top-down machine that's led by MPs, and its members are just treated like volunteers, knocking on doors, leafleting, raising money, and actually not allowed to make decisions. So it's a transformative, democratic culture that we are building.
There are two classes. There is working class, there is ownership class.
We are expelling the people who have been at the forefront of building working class struggle in this country.
We can't, from day one, fling the door open, to every sect when we don't even know what we stand for ourselves.
I would have spoken in another debate, but I'm disabled, and some people that could run faster jumped up and took the spot and then surrounded.
All this infighting from an unelected clique fighting each other, and we need to put power back into your hands, into the members' hands.
Save this country from fascism!
Time. I would like to remind speakers that they need to remain on the subject of the motion, or they will be asked to leave, I'm afraid.
So behind us is a group of people, including Zara. We had some intel on maybe something would be happening with her trying to enter the conference hall with people who have been kicked out. Not sure that's going to happen, but let's see.
We are not here to expel people. We are not here to build a culture of witch hunts. The decisions that have been made today have been undemocratic. They have been imposed by nameless, faceless bureaucrats, and conference is meant to be making those decisions. Our members are meant to be making those decisions, but they've been made, from the top by appointed people, and that's not acceptable.
If you want to join your party, you can't be a member of another political party. That's pretty simple and straightforward to me. Now, there are comrades from the SWP, the Socialist Party, maybe a number of other, the Workers' Party, who say, no, we should all be together. And in those circumstances, that'll have to be sorted out. Entryism is a thing of the past. You're talking to someone from Liverpool who lived through the militants and who was very close to militants. Still close to the Socialist Party, but they are their own party, democratic centralism, their own structures. To start to say we want to now join your party, where Jeremy Corbyn is offering an alternative to ordinary working people, I just think is wrong, and I'm hoping that they will see that.
Day one is now coming to a close. People are now filing out behind us. And I want to get an impression of how people have found this whole experience today. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it hopeful? Was it disastrous? Her feelings.
Yeah, I do think that the events of yesterday, people being kicked out of the party, that never looks good. And, it's not really right for the unelected present leadership to be making those kinds of decisions.
How did today go in 3 words?
It was informative, niggly, but hopeful.
Informative, niggly, and hopeful. Okay, right. And is that what you were expecting?
Yeah, it's imperfect, but that's okay, because it's starting and it's figuring a lot of stuff out, and that's important. The disagreements are important.
Really sad in a place where we have had to fight so hard to stop reform from dominating the debate, where we've had to really go out and take down flags and do the stuff that's been difficult after they've targeted our town, to stand up against racism and to stand up for people, to find that the debate today is all about expelling a tiny group of people. It frightens me about who runs this party, that people would be expelled before we have a debate.
I'm from Bristol, and in our branch in Bristol, if we hadn't had the members from the SWP, if we hadn't had the members from the Communist Party, if we hadn't had the members from all these different organisations who have been doing it for a long time, if they hadn't stepped up, we'd still be doing stuff, but it wouldn't be as good as it is at the moment. But I'm also feeling hopeful. It did feel like there were a lot of interesting. I changed my mind quite a few times today between people were talking. I got persuaded again by somebody else. That part of it was good.
You've got a bunch of committed socialists and leftists and organisers, and you've got a bunch of people who have just never participated in politics before. It must be a very confusing space for them. But that's why the deliberation is kind of needed, so that those people can be brought into these things and they don't just see a big fight emerge on a podium, which could have been avoided. I think very easily could have been avoided. I would be so angry if leadership fucked this up again, because they're steering it. They're not empowering us.
It's terrifying for me that we are not in absolute unity and allowing anyone and everyone to speak, and we can decide. We're not stupid in our local branches who's helpful, who's not. So if we don't have democracy, maybe I'll join the Greens instead.
I don't know, it's hard. What even is democracy, ultimately?
Lots has happened today. And one of the main themes in the room, and certainly in the media, has been expulsions. Last night, people from the Revolutionary Communist Group were expelled from Corbyn's event. And today, Samira Ali, who we spoke to earlier, was expelled physically from behind the Stand Up to Racism stall she was sitting at. When I asked Jeremy Corbyn about this, he didn't know it had happened.
Stand Up to Racism is something I absolutely support and endorse.
We saw the Stand Up to Racism group being removed.
Well, they've got a stall here, Stand Up to Racism.
The person on the stall was removed from the conference?
I didn't know that.
Okay. So the question is, who is ordering these expulsions? I spoke to the head of security who was standing there, and this is what he told me. Who asked her, sorry?
Her name is Carrie, so she's the event organiser.
When I asked him for a full name, he said he didn't know, but that it was a Scottish woman. So from what it seems like, this particular expulsion was ordered by a Scottish woman called Carrie, who is the event organiser. But I don't know who that could be. The other expulsion that happened today was a kind of self-expulsion, or a boycott, as you might call it. Zara Sultana didn't come into the conference in solidarity with the people who had been expelled. Zara is scheduled to speak tomorrow, so I guess at the end of day one, we find ourselves with a new, but in some ways quite familiar, standoff. Good morning, Sunday morning. It's day 2 of the conference. And we've got a couple of questions. At the high level, who are the players, what do they come with, and what have they left with after this conference has concluded? There are also some key announcements going to be made. One of them is right now, which is the question of whether or not there's going to be a single or a collective leadership of the party. That's a really, really key question, because on the one hand, we've got Jeremy Corbyn, who supported a single leadership model. Zara's gone for the collective leadership model. This is in some way a test of their overwhelming support inside the party. And from 5 p.m. today, when the conference ends, people here are going to have to start looking out at the country that has Farage on the move towards Downing Street and seeing what they can really do to make a difference there. Those are the stakes. We will continue to assess. Qu'est-ce que c'est le vibe? How did you find the conference yesterday? What was the vibe?
I think I was a bit dismayed at the fractious nature of some of the discussions.
I think yesterday was quite outrageous.
Okay.
So we spent the first half of the day arguing about non-issues.
How did you find the conference yesterday?
I enjoyed it, but it was quite difficult to work out which group was which.
Which groups were which? Have you worked it out now? What are the groups?
I don't think so.
You know, I think this is supposed to be a grassroots party from the ground up, and that doesn't mean people who are already activists for other parties necessarily. There might be activists for things like saving their local library or their youth club or something like that. And I think there's an argument going on of, oh, well, these people are the best activists. No, they're not. They actually, sometimes they cause a lot more damage than positive, and that's what they did in our town. They did a lot of damage.
So we got a key vote coming up, an announcement of the results of the single leadership versus collective leadership. What did you vote for, and what do you want to happen?
I've voted for single leadership just because I think the way that politics works in this country, it'd be really important to have a figurehead in the party who can show leadership. I think that just translates well to, you know, the broader voting public.
I'm broadly in favour of collective leadership as a... I liked the idea at the beginning of Corbyn and Sultana. I thought they were a good combination, but unfortunately they haven't managed to get on very well. So if it was a single leader, I would hope there would be somebody who wasn't either of them, to be honest.
I listened to Zara's petition for a collective grouping, and I listened to some groups around Germany who wants a single leadership, and personally I favour the former, thinking that if we're going to differentiate your party from the other options, then having a more republic-style, democratic, different socialist party is what's more likely to form grassroots movements.
I want to support collective leadership, but given the history of the party thus far, it's a question as to whether that would work or not. So maybe single leadership is best. But personally, I voted for collective leadership.
La dimanche. La dimanche avec quelle vibe? Massive cheer here for the question of whether or not your party should be an explicitly socialist party.
Finally, conference on the leadership model.
So this is the most important one. The leadership model.
Conference.
Tension in the room, not tension. Anticipation in the room.
Conference, you voted option B. You voted for a collective leadership.
Okay, so this is the big vote. This is the big one. They have voted for option B, that's collective leadership, so not a single leader. So what that means for the next few months, we're not going to see that sort of staged battle between Zara and Jeremy, but in fact a sort of much more nebulous process of developing, hopefully, a new cadre, a new layer, let's say, of leaders who can take the party forwards into the future. Extremely small majority, 51.6%. The big vote this morning was, well, the big announcement this morning was whether or not it would be a single leadership or a collective leadership.
Yeah.
How did you vote? What are you feeling about the results?
I'm happy with the results. I was looking forward to collective leadership of the party, and that's what we've got by the skin of the teeth.
Collective leadership, if it's been allowed, then that allowed to work. Then they should, common sense should prevail, and for us to find a way forward that will unify people on the doorsteps.
I'm not sure, because obviously this is quite new, this collective leadership. So a bit worried, but that is democracy, so let's see.
I suppose I'm very pleased about the way all the votes went. I'm a member of the Socialist Party, so obviously the dual membership, that was good. Well, all of them. I'm very pleased. I seem to have got the backing of most of the comrades around me.
What are you hoping to hear from Zara, though?
That what has happened this morning and the day before, months before, that's in the past now. We've got to look for the future. Now it's time to unite and take the fight to not just Reform, but Tories and Labour, and give the British people a real alternative.
Yesterday, boycotting the conference damaged the reputation of the party?
That was not a stunt. That was a stand for democracy and not allowing unelected, faceless bureaucrats from making decisions that only the members have the right to make.
What decisions do you think they should make today? You've got a speech later. What will you be calling for the party to do?
Collective leadership is an important win. Having an executive council with no MPs and councillors, having reserve positions is an important win for maximum member democracy. And today is the start of a party that will go out, that already has 55,000 members across the country, that will go out and build power, win in elections, and beat the forces of fascism that are gaining power in our country.
Are you feeling hopeful?
Extremely hopeful.
Obviously, optics-wise, her fact that she didn't come in yesterday made this arrival just now dramatic, a big news splash, a big kind of, a big moment. Whether or not that's what you want, when much of the conference has been slow, deliberative, really well considered, according to some of the members we've spoken to, that's not entirely clear to me.
And the shocking sight of a Muslim woman being manhandled and dragged out of conference is something that should shame any party that claims to stand for equality and justice. This party must be run by its members, not MPs. This party must never be captured from above. This party must never become a Labour 2.0. And that is why we are here, to build a new kind of politics.
Impressive, very impressive. Undoubtedly an extremely skilled politician.
Now is the moment you've all been waiting for. We have a party, we have rules, we have a constitution, we have enthusiasm, we have commitment, we have principles, and above all, we have a name.
Jeremy Corbyn about to announce the name.
Your party is the name of your party.
it will forever be known to me as York.
What a wonderful weekend, what a wonderful conference. Safe journey home, everybody.
So the conference is over. There have been two big stories here this weekend. The first one is the politics, the high drama, the expulsions on Friday and then Saturday, and then Zara's boycott of the conference yesterday, all that stuff. But there's a second, slower story here as well, which is a party of the left trying to stitch itself together democratically with all the difficulty and trouble that implies. But has this process, messy, democratic, hard, sometimes very confusing, actually produced something of worth? Well, this is what we heard from the people we spoke to as they filtered out of the conference at the end of 2 days.
We had some massive wins with the voting on like constitution and stuff.
You know, I feel a big, confidence in our ability to make change and make people's lives better.
I thought Jeremy Corbyn was fantastic. I wish Zara Sultana would stop throwing drops and causing division by boycotting the conference.
Well, that's part of being a leftist, right? It's once there's agreement and there's consensus, then a voice of disagreement has to rise. Then that's how we keep moving. That's why we're progressives. Being in consensus is regressive in a way.
It's incredible that I've finally come to a party where I'm able to be part of the democratic process 100%.
Now, it's the wheels are on the road now. So
the wheels are on the bus.
Yeah, they go round and round all day long.
All day long. So as you can see from the people we spoke to, an overwhelmingly positive set of associations with this conference, and indeed a great deal of confidence they can take what they've learned and felt here out to the country. That is not what I would have expected had you asked me what this conference would feel like 3-4 days ago. With the amendments that Zara Sultana had supported passing, collective leadership, dual carding in place, we're looking at something pretty much like what she wanted. The people in this conference hall will now have to take these ideas, this message, this feeling out to the country. Can that politics, defined explicitly now as a socialist politics, be something that can regain the momentum of the British left to the level it was when Jeremy Corbyn won 13 million votes at the 2017 general election?